Hey guys, what's up and welcome to a new Tesla update video. So today, as per usual, let's go over the market, let's go over Tesla, and let's figure out what is happening today with Tesla stock and what we can expect moving forward for the rest of the month. So as per usual, if you enjoyed the video, don't forget to hit the like button. Of course, this is not financial advice. I am not a financial advisor. And my membership section on YouTube is live. The link is down below if you're interested, where I update Tesla intraday as it's moving with a lot of pretty good information, at least sometimes. I mean, I would like to think so. And people seem to be enjoying it. So if you're interested, definitely check it out. The link is below. $3 a month. We just hit 200 members. So that's awesome to see. So thank you all for the support. But let's just jump right into it. Tesla closing the day up pretty much 6% on the day, which obviously I think we can agree is a bit of an outperformance compared to the market, right? Closing at about $261, just above it, which is phenomenal to see. So there's a lot to talk about, some good, and there's still some bad. I don't think that even after this phenomenal run today, which again, hopefully some of you have been expecting, we talked about this, how, inverted head and shoulders, my price target is 260, right? We're pretty much at 261, right? So we hit my price target. Went even a little bit higher than I expected, in all honesty, but nonetheless, we did hit it, and we did play out this inverted head and shoulders that we've been talking about. I talked about this many times. I talked about how it almost collapsed over here, but we still closed candles above it. So people, hopefully you guys, this is not something that's unexpected. Even yesterday's title was literally Tesla's about to have a big move, right? So with that being said, let's talk about the good news first, right? There's obviously some pretty darn good news. Starting with the 6% move. We did play out the inverted head and shoulders, so we can now obviously remove this, right? It has officially played out. So that pattern is no longer of concern to me. It's completely irrelevant now because it has played out, which is great to see. We also broke above this little kind of blue line of this downtrend that we can see that happened over here, which is phenomenal to see. You can see that, we did come up to it, right? These two candles right here on the 65-minute chart. Right, these two right here, we came up to it and got rejected pretty much twice, and then we finally did break through it. And you can see right as we closed above it and broke through it, what a powerful candle we got right after, right? That's just kind of the power of breaking through some resistance or some support or some pattern like that, right? That's kind of what happens usually when you get some resistance at it. If you break through it, you get some pretty nice follow through, right? That's why people usually like to buy in on the breakouts, right? You can still have traps, but that's what people like to do because of the power that it can sometimes have in that move, continuing in that same direction, which is kind of what happened here. Now, so that's great. So we obviously broke above that, right? Now let's go back to the daily chart super quickly, right? Broke above the blue line, right? Tesla, phenomenal looking candle today on very, good volume. It's not crazy volume, but it's not low volume. It's very average volume, which is fine. Nothing wrong with that. MACD is looking like it, it's getting close to potentially flipping bullish. It hasn't yet, but it's looking like it wants to soon. RSI is looking great. All in all, it's looking pretty good, right? It's looking pretty darn good. As if that's not enough, we also have, I should remove that. We have the 100-day moving average, I guess, that we have been bouncing off of the whole time. But more importantly, we have the 21 EMA, right? And the 50-day moving average, which is the top two over here, which we officially did break above. Now, hopefully, fingers crossed, we turn them into a resistance. That's going to be the next thing to see. But we did break above them. We did close, of course, well above them. It's not even like a question if we closed above them. We unquestionably closed well above those two indicators, which is a bullish thing to see as well. Obviously, this in theory could still be a bull trap. We'll talk about that later. This can still be a trap. But from now and just strictly at how it looks as of right now, pretty damn promising, right? Definitely what the bulls wanted to see. So overall, looking great. No real complaints over here. And Tesla is looking phenomenal. The options flow, by the way, we'll talk about that super quickly right now. Nothing too crazy here, right? It's kind of mixed. It's probably slightly more bearish, I would guess, but it's nothing like completely in one direction. Even the bearish sides and the bullish sides, it's nothing like insane in premium. There's not like some whale with multiple millions, right, in premium. It's all kind of mute, in my opinion. So I don't think it's too valid, I guess, to talk about or to really put too much emphasis in right now until something more interesting comes through there. But moving over to potentially what could be a little bit less good news, because again, as great as it is, as phenomenal as this push is and whatnot, right, it's still not over yet. I think the bulls are still looking to clear another hurdle, and that's going to be an important hurdle of, let's go back to the 65-minute chart. Let me remove these indicators for now so it's not cluttered. This head and shoulders pattern. So we played out this inverted head and shoulders pattern we talked about, which was great. Unfortunately, we have a substantially larger version of the head and shoulders pattern, but this time it's the bearish version of it, where now we have the shoulder here right off of this rally, then we set up the head over here, and now we're setting up the right shoulder. So there's still some concern that this can still be a glorious bull trap. Like it would be a pretty substantial bull trap if this actually plays out. So that's why I want to make it very clear, because as you can see, as we zoom in, we're still getting rejected at what I personally view to be still a resistance level, right? We got pretty damn close to gap filling this. We were off by like $1 roughly, right? About $1. So we got pretty close to gap filling, which is good to see, but we didn't really gap fill it. But some people will quantify or qualify this as a gap fill. But nonetheless, we somewhat gap filled it, I guess you can say. But there's still obviously a resistance level, right? We did break above this level over here slightly, which is pretty much 260 on the dot. But you can see these candles over here did bounce off of this kind of level that we are getting rejected at right now, kind of roughly where this white line I have is, right? That general level, this kind of 260 to as high as maybe even 262 and a half, 263, right? That level is still technically a level that I'm a little bit cautious of. I'm not super like jumping up and down with joy right now, and I still think that there is potentially a bit more work to be done for the bulls to really truly turn this around, and the bulls really having control, at least in my opinion, right? As good as it is right now, and the bulls are definitely doing the right things so far, and the bears are definitely getting destroyed by the bulls here. But again, there's still a little bit more work. There's that one extra push that I personally would like to see to really make me even more confident, right? And that's again breaking above kind of this 260 to 263, we'll just say, range, right? Which will kind of enter this territory. And ideally, I want to take what this level over here, the head, turned into a resistance. I want to turn that into a new resistance once again, or a support rather, once again, because now at the moment, in theory, it will be acting as a resistance because we're coming back into what this area over here was looking at and turning into a support, right? Which was pretty much that 263 all the way down to 260 level, right? All these wicks you can see, none of these wicks ever closed below really 263, or except for this one. But the second this one did, you can see what happened after that, right? Important to understand that. So that's kind of one thing I'm really looking at personally. So keep that in mind. In my opinion, 263 is going to be probably the important level to break in order for the bulls to really start taking this home, in my opinion. Now, that's kind of the main stuff I'll be looking at. But on top of that, if you break into 263 and go well above it, let's say 265, etc., we start entering the territory of the head on the right shoulder. And usually when a shoulder starts entering the territory of the head, usually it'll be the right shoulder, because obviously the left shoulder doesn't really count since technically the pattern hasn't even developed yet. But now that the pattern is starting to develop, and this right shoulder can be that kind of nail in the coffin for the bulls and to really set this bearish pattern in motion, what you want to do is you want to see this right shoulder enter the territory of the head to kind of void this pattern and to make this pattern no longer be like something worth considering, I guess. You know what I mean? So that would be phenomenal for the bulls. And I think that's kind of like that touchdown point, if you will, for the bulls. They really want to do that. The bears really want to defend this area. They don't want the bulls to remove this pattern, because that's their last chance to still have Tesla have a pretty sizable drawdown, in all honesty, right? If this pattern plays out, I think it'll be a sizable drawdown. I think Tesla will make its way down pretty aggressively. And I actually think this kind of what looks to be a pretty bullish situation right now can still turn bearish extremely quickly. So that's why I'm personally still throwing out, especially for my members, a bit of caution, right? I think, we were playing out the situation just now, the inverted head and shoulders, and, people were a little bit scared that it'll break down. And again, like I said, yesterday's video, I bought back all my sold calls and I actually resold calls for this Friday, playing a little bit of a short-term play right now. To make that extra premium, and it went up by like 3 times the amount that it was worth yesterday. So that was great to see. So I'm very happy about that. But this is something else to consider. So just keep that in mind, right? That's very, very important to understand, because this will be something that I am personally still watching out for. I'm not jumping up for joy. Usually when everyone's euphoric, I start kind of thinking about, okay, well, what are some things that we should still watch out for? Right? And vice versa. When everyone's bearish, I'm like, okay, well, maybe it could be not that bad. So that's kind of how I like to look at things, right? I like to look at the opposite of what the majority is thinking, because that's usually what the market likes to do. So that's the main things I'll be looking at. I'm not going to add too much more to this video right now, because I think that's enough information. And I personally think that's probably the most important information to understand. So again, pretty much, do we break above 263? I guess is the easiest way to look at it. If we do, man, the bulls are looking good. The bulls are looking good. I mean, even now they're still looking pretty darn good. But at that point, it'll be looking like really good, right? But as of right now, in my opinion, take some caution. What can still happen is, because we did break out, as always, like I always talk about, it's very common to retest breakouts. So it's still very possible that what we get, maybe tomorrow, maybe Friday, is a retest. So we come back down over here, somewhere to around the 255s, potentially retest, and then make our way up, right? And something like this, right? Obviously, that can still happen. So watch for that. That is important, and that is still a very real possibility. So for now, I'll be looking at these specific situations and seeing how they develop and seeing how they continue and seeing if the bulls can really score that touchdown or if the bears are going to make a comeback. That's kind of what I'm looking at. So all that being said, thank you so much for watching. I think that's the most important thing to pay attention to for now. Again, if you also want to think about it this way, we still of course have the 21 EMA and the 50-day moving average can still potentially come down to retest them. I don't think we will soon. I think what we're going to do, assuming the bullish side plays out, is maybe go sideways, maybe come down to retest the blue line, right? Like I just talked about, maybe bounce from there, kind of go sideways for a little bit longer, roughly. And then as these start to slowly move up to us, maybe we'll then come back down to retest them at that point. You know what I mean? But all in all, the bulls are looking good. The bulls are looking good. All they have to do is not mess up this kind of final play, in my opinion. So we'll see. There's still some work to be done. But all in all, thank you so much for watching. And as usual, I'll see you tomorrow. Peace.